TV, broadening your horizon.
Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 2. I am Beto Bryan coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiako-Uruan. Let's take a look at the headlines. Buhari receives South African President Ramaphosa in Abuja. 3 cases of Omicron confirmed in Nigeria. United Nations urges countries of the world to move fast in ending inequalities that divide the HIV and AIDS pandemic as world marks 2021 AIDS Day today. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First in our news this afternoon is a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has received President of South Africa Cyril Ramaphosa at the State House in Abuja. The South African president, who is accompanied by a delegation of ministers and business leaders, is on a state visit expected to reinforce South Africa's bilateral relationships with Nigeria, as well as strengthen partnership directed at African development and cooperation in multilateral fora. Ramaphosa's 4-nation visit to the West African region, which also looks to advance trade and investment between the two countries, coincides with the 10th session of the Nigeria-South African Binational Commission. In the meantime, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced that Nigeria has reported 3 cases of the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus. A statement signed by the Director General of NCDC, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, says the Public Health Agency has conducted cases and genomic surveillance for the inbound international travelers arriving in the country at its National Reference Laboratory, Abuja, and a network of other testing laboratories, adding that the genomic surveillance has now identified and confirmed Nigeria's first 3 cases of Omicron variant. According to him, the cases were recent arrivals in the country in the past week, stressing that follow-up to ensure isolation, linkage to clinical cases, contact tracing, and other relevant response activities have commenced. Meanwhile, federal government has commenced the enforcement of mandatory vaccination against COVID-19 at the Federal Secretariat. The exercise took place early today as security men manned the main entrance to the Federal Secretariat, where they demanded vaccination cards or evidence of negative PRC tests before allowing civil servants enter to the Secretariat. According to reports made available, some of the unvaccinated civil servants questioned the federal government's decision, saying COVID-19 vaccines should not be made compulsory, but a matter of choice. To the Green Chambers now, where the House of Representatives has summoned the management of the Benin Electricity Distribution Company, BEDC, and the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, over 7 years power blackout in Mosoga and Ejemu, Ovie, the other affected areas in Itokpe, West Local Government Area of Delta State. The House also urged NEC to be up to their responsibilities of supervising and ensuring that distribution companies all over the country do not continue to thrive in deceit and rip off consumers. The resolution of the House was sequel to the adoption of a motion of urgent national importance moved at plenary by Ben Rowlands, who said that for about 7 years, major parts of Itiope West, particularly Mosoga and Ejemudaro communities, have been in total blackout as a result of total failure by the BEDC to discharge their duties in the distribution of power/electricity to the affected areas, despite the prompt collection of bills by the BDC. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to extend the LAGOS-KANO standard gauge railway line to the Sanusi railway station near Igbora in the Ibarapa axis of Oyo State and make it function. The narrow gauge line in the meantime. According to him, The project commenced with the construction of 187 kilometers segment from Abuja to Kaduna on February 20, 2011 and was completed and inaugurated on 26 July 2016. He, however, expressed worries that the federal government failed to rehabilitate the old railway lines or extend the new standard gauge railway lines to some key existing railway stations. Away from that, as the world marks the 2021 World AIDS Day today, a public health consultant, Thomas Ofem, has called on the National Assembly to make urgently a law to protect the rights of all Nigerians to the health care they need and ensure its enforcement. Ofem also urged the National Assembly as a matter of urgency to repeal laws that make it difficult for sex workers, people who inject drugs, and other sexual minorities to access available HIV and AIDS treatment and care services. In a statement to mark this year's World AIDS Day with the theme, End Inequalities, End AIDS, Ofem said to end AIDS in Nigeria, the people must join hands to end AIDS amongst all population segments. He also noted that laws and policies that reduce access to available HIV services by sex workers and other stigmatized and marginalized populations only worsen Nigeria's AIDS pandemic. Away from that, operatives of the Nigerian Police Force Special Tactical Squad have arrested 32 suspects for their complicity in their crimes of kidnapping, armed robbery, arms smuggling, illegal possession of weapons, trading in illicit drugs, trans-border car theft, rape, amongst others. According to Force Public Relations Officer CP Frank Mba, who disclosed this in a statement, the police recovered 19 AK-47 rifles, 1 GPMG, 3 revolver rifles, 2 GE3 rifles, 1 SMG, 1 Beretta pistol, 453 rounds of live ammunition of different caliber, 12 magazines, and 17 stolen cars from the criminals during the follow-up investigations. He added that notable amongst the cases is the arrest of 6 notorious criminals involved in a car theft in different parts of the country, particularly Nasarawa, Port Harcourt, FCT, Kebbi, and Zamfara states. In Ebonyi State, Governor David Umuahi has announced the immediate suspension of all civil servants from the conflict-torn Iforum community in OHAUKWU local government area over killings of 5 construction workers. Umuahi made the announcement in Abakaliki during a security summit organized by the state branch of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and founding fathers of the state. The governor alleged that the perpetrators of the dastardly acts in the area were funded from both within and outside the state, adding that he will approach the State House of Assembly on the way forward concerning the chairman of the council and 2 assembly members from the area. Reports say suspects arrested over the incident have confessed that the workers had been killed and buried. Meanwhile, the police team which visited the area for investigation were ambushed and 2 officers have been allegedly reported missing. On customs, terminal operators and other stakeholders have blamed the Nigerian Customs Service (NSC) for delaying the installation and deployment of NOCTEC mobile scanners delivered to the service at the nation's seaport for use. The chairman of the Seaport Terminal Operators Association of Nigeria, STOAN, Dr. Vicky Hastrop, said the customs inefficiency was responsible for more than 80% of the cost incurred by importers and agents at the seaport. They gave the submission at a town hall meeting organized by the League of Maritime Editors in Nigeria. Hastrop, who said that the manual examination of cargoes has become a sore point in Nigeria's customs administration, added that the continuous utilization of 100% manual cargo examination and clearance constitutes a lot of bottlenecks in the system and are responsible for the huge costs of port services. In a separate development, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has said that there is a need for the Nigerian Exchange Limited, NGX, to woo financial technology fintech firms rising capital beyond the shores of the country to the nation's bursary to deepen the market. Speaking at the 2021 Capital Market Conference held in Abuja, OSINBAJO expressed concerns about the inability of fintech companies and startups to access funds from the capital markets. He stated, however, that sustainability of Nigeria's fintech ecosystem requires existing and emerging financial services startups, attracting the fintech unicorns to the markets as a viable option for capital raising would to benefit from the growth of the companies and generate wealth for the economy. On drugs, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control NAFDAC has confiscated and destroyed tramadol worth about 2 trillion naira and substandard medicines valued at over 4 billion naira in the last 4 years. NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, made the disclosure in Abuja at a press conference to mark her 4 years in office. According to reports, over 5 billion worth of falsified drugs, unwholesome food products, and cosmetics were seized and incinerated nationwide by the agency between March and August this year. In a separate development, federal government has reviewed travel protocol with an additional polymerized another test on day 2 after arrival and another on day 7. They are also expected to self-isolate for 7 days. On economy, the National Economic Council has endorsed the Financial Bill 2022, which is expected to be passed along with the 2022 Appropriation Bill. The NEC meeting, which was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, is composed of governors, the Federal Capital Territory Minister, the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor, and other officials. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Media and Publicity, Laoli Akonde, said the highlights of the bill were presentment, tax administration reforms, as well as international taxation issues. In the meantime, the Minister of Police Affairs, Dr. Mohammed Dingyadi, has charged stakeholders to deliberate on strategies to shore up the internally generated revenue IGR by leveraging on changing technologies with a view to stimulating the economy and good governance in the country. A statement by the head press and public relations unit in the ministry, Bolaji Kazim, says the minister spoke at the opening ceremony of the 2-day stakeholder zonal conference on IGR with the theme, Strategies at Enhancing Internally Generated Revenue in Abuja. The minister, who was represented by the permanent secretary, Temitokpe Fashidemi, said the fiscal resources are urgently needed to stimulate the economy and provide the necessary dividends of good governance, noting that leveraging on the fast pace of changing technology would help in recording accounts and reporting of revenue to block leakages, losses, and wastages. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel has joined his Abia State counterpart, Dr. Okezie IKPEAZU, to perform the foundation-laying ceremony of a multifaceted health and human development facility at Ikotuntueno Fort Ekperinsukara in Uyo local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Speaking at the event, Governor Emmanuel lauded the Board of Trustees Chairman, Pastor Basi Udo, for choosing to site the project in Akwa Ibom, expressing optimism that the project will, in the nearest future, change the face of the host community. Reaffirming support for the project, Governor Emmanuel said his government has awarded contracts for the construction of the entire stretch of Ekperinsukara Road to complement the facility, adding that full construction work will commence as soon as the weather becomes more favorable. On his part, Abia State Governor Okezie IKPEAZU described the initiative as a missionary work that will cater for the health needs of many in the area, stressing that the siting of the project in Uyo, besides indicating the selflessness of the foundation, would cement his friendship with Governor Udom Emmanuel. Still in Akwa Ibom, youths in 2 bordering communities in Ini local government area of Akwa Ibom State have called on Akwa Ibom State government to undertake bridges construction, access roads, and drinkable water in the area. According to the villagers, the bridge in the area, which was collectively constructed by 3 villages including Mbiabet Ikot Otok and Atong Iben and Ehie Idia villages, were later demolished by a certain construction firm who promised reconstruction of the bridges. In an interaction with Spectrum Television, the people noted that the site's sufferings of the people Regarding the demolished bridge and lack of drinkable water, casualties have been recorded as people fell into the water as a result of the poor state of the place.
According to reports, 3 villages including Mbiabeti-Korotok, Atongeben and Eyegedia contributed resources to put up a mini bridge to connect Eyegedia and Ikototok together for ease of access. Youths in the affected community say that a certain construction company came with the promise to reconstruct a better bridge but ended up demolishing their earlier constructed culvert, leaving the people in the area to suffer.
My name is Unyime Enokwan. I am the youth president of Mbiabeti-Korotok. I want to plead with the state government that we are suffering from poor roads. I plead with Deacon Udum Emmanuel to come to our aid as we have suffered so much. I am Abraham Ekanem Jacob, the youth president of this village, Mbiabeti-Korotok. Please, lack of roads has contributed to why we do not have a borehole in our village. That's why we drink this type of water. It's not good for us to drink this kind of water. The more we drink this, the more it causes malaria on our people. We plead with the government of the Udum Emmanuel to give us access road, water, because we lack drinkable water in this village. I'm sure that if we have good roads, there will be water. Business can also move if we have access road. Please, we need roads, and we ask Governor Udum Emmanuel to do this for us.
They, however, attributed lack of drinkable water in the areas to the inaccessible state of their roads, calling on the government to come to their aid and construct the bridge, access road and water in the area. I am Uyayanekan reporting for Spectrum Television.
On our continental news, in Africa, Lesotho former Prime Minister Thomas Tambeni has been charged with the 2017 murder of his estranged wife, Lipolelo Tambeni. Gunmen had reportedly shot and killed Lipolelo Tambeni on the 14th of June 2017, 2 days before Tambeni was sworn in as Prime Minister. Reports say Tambeni stepped down in May 2020 following months of pressure after he was named as a suspect on allegations of hiring hitmen to kill his late wife. The case has shocked many and caused political ructions in the small landlocked kingdom, which is entirely surrounded by South Africa. On the foreign scenes, amid the growing concerns over the Omicron variant of COVID-19, Canada has added Egypt, Malawi, and Nigeria to the travel ban list. According to Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos, all travelers coming in from outside Canada, apart from the United States, would now be tested at Canadian airports for the novel coronavirus disease, regardless of vaccination status. Still on the foreign scenes, the United Nations has urged countries of the world to move fast in ending inequalities that drive the HIV/AIDS pandemic as the world marks the 2021 AIDS Day today. The UN AIDS Executive Director, Winnie Byanyima, in her speech said the world would also struggle to end the COVID-19 pandemic and would remain unprepared for the pandemics of the future if it does not come together to end the HIV/AIDS disease. She called on leaders to act boldly and together by bringing together cutting-edge science delivery service that meets all people's needs, protecting human rights and sustaining adequate financing and policy to ensure fair and affordable access to science.
We must protect human rights and build trust in health systems and all public systems. It is these that will ensure that we close the inequality gaps and end AIDS. But they are too often applied unevenly, they are underfunded, and they are underappreciated. On this World AIDS Day, I salute the frontline communities who have pioneered the approaches shown to be most effective, who have driven the momentum for change, and who are pushing our leaders to be bold. I urge you, activists, communities, keep pushing. And world leaders, let us work together urgently to tackle these challenges head on. I urge you, be courageous in matching your words with deeds. There is not a choice to be made between ending the AIDS pandemic that is raging today and preparing for the pandemics of tomorrow.
On our business news, Nigeria Vice President Yemi OSINBAJO says federal government expects the NNPC Limited, the successor company to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC, to be listed on the Nigerian exchange within the year. Speaking in Abuja at the Nigerian Exchange NGX conference with the theme, The Future Ready Capital Market, Innovating for Nigeria's Sustainability, OSINBAJO noted that the listing of NNPC Limited would deepen the market and underscore government support for the market. According to him, the market was at the cusp of history to realize its full potentials by attracting a generation of technology-savvy young Nigerians who are looking for innovative ways of investing their resources. Still to come on the news, White becomes England's women's all-time leading goal scorer as Lionesses thrash Latvia 20 goals to nothing in World Cup qualifier. Stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. In health, 105 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Nigeria in the last 24 hours, putting the country's new total at 214,218. Making up the fresh infections of 43 cases in Lagos, 21 in Gombe, 16 in FCT, 10 in Niger, 6 in Rivers, 5 in Plateau, 2 in Edo, 1 each in Bauchi and KADUNA-ABUJA, beg your pardon. 207,218 persons have so far been discharged, while 2,977 others have died from the virus. In sports, Ellen White has become England's women's record goal scorer as the Lionesses thrashed Latvia 20-0 in World Cup qualifying to record their biggest ever competitive win. The Manchester City forward equaled Kelly Smith's record in the 6th minute with a strike from the edge of the area to put England 2-0 up after Beth Mead had given the Lionesses the lead. White did not take too long to make the record her own as she met Georgia Stanway's cross to steer a low finish home 3 minutes later. Over the reports to the Lagos Judicial Panel of Inquiry into police brutality and the Lekki tollgate shooting of armed and peaceful protesters. Commenting on the reason for shunning the governor, Falz said there is no peace without justice, hence his reason for shunning the peace walk organized by the state governor. And that's all we have for you at this time. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 2. I am Beto Brian. Do have a nice day.
Spectrum
Cool you.